What's up, people? The sudden ending. I did the sudden ending on you guys. All right, welcome. Nice to see you, Roseanne. I know Roseanne said I'm taking the day off because I got something to do. But now we know what it was. This. Now, I'm glad you could make it, and thank you as always for being an amazing person here and a force. I don't even want to say it's not a job that you're doing, although you are wonderfully providing information and encouragement and just presence and consistency. So thank you for that. And welcome. Wow, lots of folks showing up today, and this is my silver episode. It's just the 75th episode, but you gotta tie it to something, right? Silver episode. That's all. Doesn't mean anything. Although I did. Let me before you say. Well, actually, I want to say hello. Hello, Bill. Bill was here early. Bill often is here early. Maybe we should start the Bill Bradley early arriver award competition. Who can get here the earliest? Just log in like right after this ends. Just wait all week. All right. And who else is here? Daryl, welcome. And Sue, welcome. Cornelius, as always. Nice to see you. And Richard. Flute Aloha. Two Richards, though. Richard Brunner and Richard Bonomo. Is that another? Wow. Similar, yet different. And you go by Richie. Okay. So Richard Bonomo is Richie, and Richard Brunner is our buddy from Flute Aloha. And Richard, if you want to leave, Brunner, if you want to leave your some of your links to some of your music, by all means, go ahead. Richard produces his own music, writes his own music, and does some cool flute stuff and other things. So yeah, we were just at Flute Aloha together. It was awesome. And Geneva's here. Welcome. And who else? I think we're all caught up. All right. Thank you, Sue. Congrats on the silver episode. Yeah, it's just, you got to tie it in with something, right? Silver episode. But honestly, you guys, 75 episodes. That's 75 weeks. That's almost a year. I'm kidding. Nobody actually knows how many weeks are in a year. They keep changing it because of leap years and stuff. All right. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. So what? Oh, the opening. Today. There's not really a set theme other than I thought it was like an anniversary kind of thing, right? 75th show. Week-liversary? I don't know what that is. And I thought I would just go back to basics. And just play congas, just open with a pretty simple. It got out of hand, but especially with the flute playing, way to take chances, right? I just was like going crazy. I don't know. I'm just messing around and trying stuff, at your all's expense. But the idea with that was, and this is something you guys could take away, is I had a click going. I had a backing beat that I'm listening to, because I never know when I'm going to start looping, right? And I don't want to have to go over and start the looper. So I just listen. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. Maybe not, because I have these good headphones on that block all the sound out. But I'm listening to the groove in the looper, and I'm playing. But here's the thing, you guys. First of all, I didn't really have much time to warm up. I only sat down here. I got ready earlier, but I'm trying to make dinner. Usually I don't cook on Tuesdays, but my wife and I swapped last night. So now I'm cooking tonight, and I had to get everything ready, and then I'm coming out here, get ready. Oh, it's 5:50 or 4:57, and I just sit down, and I'm like, I'm not even warmed up. Welcome, Poetic Percussion. Yes, welcome. So I just decided to warm up, and play, which is fine, and anybody can do that. But I don't like playing, I don't like going crazy right when I sit down at the drums, even though it is kind of warm today. but especially in the winter, you know, when it's cold, my hands are cold, I don't recommend that. And so I want to take care of myself, but also play and also warm up. And more importantly, I wanted to pace out the solo and the music. And that's the kind of the main point I wanted to communicate with you guys as musicians and players and performers and people who do different things. So my idea with that was, let's take our time and let's just not be in a hurry to get to a flurry. You can quote that. And so I just was playing, you know, one drum. I set up 3 drums, but I'm just playing one drum, and you know, just kind of some variations, and then I started to get a little theme going. You know, through repetition and, you know, callbacks to different little figures and things I was doing. And by the way, how's the video? Does that look? I guess it looks okay. All right, it's smooth. I thought for a second it was like doing this weird thing. How does the video and audio look to you guys? I'm hoping it's still good. I didn't change anything from last week, so hopefully it's okay. So the idea with that is, like, yeah, just take your time. I mean, this was a conga solo basically. So the idea is, you know, build it slowly, build it up. And I think I played maybe 2 or 3 minutes before I started kind of taking it up to what would be kind of the, you know, the highest level. Thanks for the sound check. Good. You know, you have to exercise some restraint, right? Like, it's easy to just like go blah, 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 blah. Here's all the stuff I can play, and, you know, do that. But it's actually, for me, it's like a cool thing to hold back and just let things slowly develop and see what happens and see how I play. Because especially, well, here's another thing, is that when you sit down, you might have some ideas in your head, but you're not playing yet, right? And you just start playing. You need to listen to yourself and kind of see what you do, right? And then that will inform the next thing you do. You say, oh, you know, I'm playing, and today I'm doing this, and I'm feeling this vibe, and I'm kind of feeling this theme. And then, you know, you build on that, and you just kind of let the music come to you, and then you follow that. And, you know, it's kind of like a conversation with the muse, right? Like, for lack of a better term, or maybe for not lack of a better term. Maybe that is a good term. Does that make sense, you guys? Like, so you're sort of playing with the music that you're playing, and you're also not planning a lot. You're just kind of playing, you know, unconsciously or semi-consciously, and allowing yourself the freedom to be creative and to play. Like, especially when I picked up that flute, I was like, I'm playing some stuff, and then I'm like, no, this is too safe. You know, and I'm just like, I'm going to play chromatically. I'm going to play some obtuse melodies and weird stuff and see what happens. Now, I'm not an expert flute player, but, you know, it's just a matter of pushing out into the boundaries and the edges, because that's where the growth is, right? And fortunately, like, everybody here pretty much knows me well enough to know, okay, this is what I'm doing right now. And so I'm also trying to model that for you guys. If I can do it and take risks like that, you know, in a live stream, then you guys can certainly do that, like, wherever you are, at home or whatever, right? I'm not saying necessarily do that on a gig, like at a wedding ceremony, but you know, you can definitely go just kind of give yourself permission to play and take risks and you know, just experiment. All right, so that's what was going on with that. That's it basically. I laid down some parts, and pretty basic rhythmically. But I've also been transcribing a rhythm that a friend of the channel, Vinny's an older gentleman, and he lives in Florida, and he's blind, and so he sent me a link to a lesson, and he's like, I don't know what the guy's doing here with the hands, you know, on this. It was a 3 conga pattern, and I'm working on that, so I'll post that on the channel pretty soon. I'm gonna do my own, like, handing version of it. So it's a pattern that this other teacher taught based on another conga player. But I'm gonna go ahead and settle on, you know, my own version of how I would play that pattern, and then I'll publish it and I'll share it with you guys. But that was a request that Vinny made, because he's not, and that's sometimes what he's not seeing because he's blind, and he's listening. But if that's why I sometimes really make it a point to say what hands I'm using and what tones and everything, and I break it down and I say that in my videos, like this is for the people who are vision impaired or blind, because you know they use YouTube too, and if we don't include that information in our video, like if I don't include that, then it's not there for anybody. It's not there for them. So, and to be honest with you guys, I watched the video, this other gentleman's video. It's a good video of him playing congas and teaching, but he doesn't talk about the hand patterns or anything. And so I actually, and it's from the front view, so I'm having to switch everything around, you know, like that's why I give you guys this view, because, right? So like it's easy to follow if you're, I mean, at least if you're right-handed. Is that even in focus? Hold on. Let me focus this. That's better. So, you know, that's the easy view to follow, right? So what I did, here's a tip for you guys too. What I did is I recorded that guy's video on my phone, on my iPhone, because you can just record a video, right? And then I took it and I put it in my photos, and then I flipped it over and I inverted it, so it was basically like the player view, right? Because his view was like this first, head on, and then I flipped it around, and it pretty much works, right, to see. Although then I was like, is he left-handed? Because he also didn't say if he was playing it right or left-handed, so I don't know. I'm just going to do my own version. Anyway, that's enough about that. Let's see. I have another feature of the show. Is it already? Okay, good. We're right on time. All right, so welcome, everybody. This is Tuesday Museday. I'm Kalani. Let's do this.
Guess the sound!
All right, now today is, well, I'm just going to play it, but I'm looking for a specific name, all right? Anyone? What do you guys think? Now, I'll give you the main category for free, all right? Cornelius. No, you're already on it. Yeah, it is a frame drum, but we're going to take that as a given. But what frame drum is it? So Roseanne, yes, Roseanne. See, you weren't even going to be here, and Roseanne got it correct. So yeah, this is another drum. Did I use this last week? I don't think so. I used some other drums, but this is an awesome drum. I've used it before, but let me show you guys real quick. So this is the Bendir, and a Bendir, I think this is a 16, I think. 16 inch, which is, don't ask me how many centimeters. Yeah, so it's a frame drum, but it has this snare in it, and it's four little strings, and it buzzes. But here's the cool thing. If I want to take the snare off, I just grab these and pull them a little bit, and it loosens them. See, now they're loose. And now, well, if I hold it up, let me go back over here. I mean, if I keep it flat like that, of course, they're going to rub, but... It sounds good today, too. It's right in the middle, it's kind of in the tenor range of this drum. Now, this drum has a natural head, has an animal skin head. I believe it's goat, maybe. I don't know. I think it's goat. But you've got both choices, and then if you want to put the snares on, you just grab this little end and you pull it, and they tighten right up, and you're back to snares. So yeah, and I love this drum. You can also just tighten. I think you can tighten them. I don't want to pull it too hard, you know. Yeah. It's a pretty cool drum, and I'm not sure. I don't want to say where it's from or countries or things. I'm not really sure. North Africa, probably. But yeah, this one is a Cooperman Fife and Drum Company. And I always try to give those guys a shout out whenever I can. So they make just beautiful instruments. And like I said, this is a natural skin drum. So the thing about this one is that it will change with the weather and change with the humidity and stuff. So today it's kind of nice and low. Sometimes, if I come out here and it's been raining or something, it'll be just super low, like almost unplayable. But sometimes that's cool. Or in summer, if I've had the AC on, I'll come out and it'll be like ping, ping, ping. It'll be super tight. And it's not tunable or anything. It just goes up and down with the weather. So I kind of like that. I have some other drums, like this one I used last week. That's the Chinese drum. This one has a synthetic head. So, I can tune it. In fact, I use this one with Flute Aloha. Is that the one? I think that's Richard Bruner. That's the one I played, right, on your piece. Oh, no, I played the one over here on the floor. But same kind of idea. I could tune that. Actually, I want you guys to check it out. Richard, if you could share that link that if you're still here, share the link of you playing your flute piece, and I'm playing the Glenn Velez. Hold on. I'm playing the Glenn Velez Bowron, and we tuned it, right, to, I think it was it a D? We tuned it to whatever your flute was. It might still be tuned. Let's see. No promises, but look at that. Maybe we can use that for Gimme 5 later. So I love both of these drums, but the point with this sidetrack is if you have a synthetic drum, you can tune it, and it'll stay. I mean, that's been like that for a week now almost, and you can do things like that. Whereas with the bendir, the natural drum, you just have to take what you get. But that's also cool because then you get different things all the time, right? And it's kind of changing. So there's a question. Cornelius, what congas would you recommend for starting out? You mean just a beginner set of congas, or what do you want to do with your congas? Because that does enter into the equation. Like, do you want to just start playing congas and you want something to practice on, or do you want to get something that you're going to be able to keep and use, without having to buy another set later? So there's a couple questions for you. But let me answer you in the way that I would answer for just about anybody who's asking that kind of question, which is I always recommend that people get, so you're saying playing, which of course would be the right answer, I think. I always recommend that people get the best quality that they can afford, and based on, what do you want to do with them? Because if it's just kind of like, I want to learn and maybe play for fun and go to the drum circle or something, then I would say, well, then don't spend a lot, get something decent. But if you want to play with them and not have to buy another set and maybe use them for recording or gigs, then I would say at least get like a pro level set, which would be like these, like a full size. Like these are the Tycoon, these are wood. I'm partial to wood drums, and I also like natural heads, and I also like the traditional hoop. And that's just me, because that's kind of what I learned on. But yes, and don't put things on them. I like this is the smaller rim. It doesn't affect the sound much either way. I just like the traditional design. But I would say, any pro line, you can figure out what that means, I guess, going to any of the major manufacturers. Now, most of the drums now, Tycoon, Pearl, or I don't even know if Pearl makes them anymore, but Meinl, Tycoon, LP, Toka, they're all made in Asia pretty much, and they all use bison skin pretty much. If you want to, which is fine, that's what these are. If you want to level up and go bespoke, or at least like craft person made, then you could look at like Manito and Timba and maybe whoever's making congas now, small. What is the other? Moperk. Like Moperk and stuff like that. Now that you're going to spend some money, but maybe you just need one to start, or you get a set, get two, and then you're never buying another conga ever in your life. And here's the other thing I often tell people, is that if you buy that kind of set of congas, if you buy a really nice set of congas, they're probably going to go up in value as opposed to down. Especially if you buy cheap stuff, you're not getting any of that money back. It's all over the place. Nobody wants to spend money. That's the kind of stuff that people just buy. If it's a good deal, they'll buy it. But if you buy a nice set of drums, chances are they'll hold their value or get even more valuable. I'm not saying guaranteed, but it's kind of like buying a nice car and just keeping it nice, After you wait enough years, it's going to be worth more, usually. All right, so I know that doesn't specifically, really specifically answer your question, but I hope that gives you enough info. Just, any good set, any pro set is fine. And I would just get a set of two, probably to start, but if you can afford it, maybe get all three, and then you don't have to worry about like finding the one that goes with your set of two. You don't have to worry about finding that one more drum later. If you think you're going to want to play three. But a lot of people just play two drums. I started with one drum. You learn how to play one drum. If you can play one conga, you can play two congas, you can play 3, 4, 5. Because you're just adding pitches, right? But everything you do on a conga, you do on one conga, and then it's just adding different notes. So you can have a melodic set. But, yeah. All right. Sue asks, yes, how many stars or points did Roseanne win for guessing the sound? Well, how about 75? How about 75? That's a good number. That's today's number. Does that mean I should play in 7/5? That's not even time signature, you guys. How do we know? Who can tell me why 7/5 is not a legitimate time signature? That's a quiz for you guys. I want to know. 75 points. 75 it is. All right. Yeah, nice. All right. What else are we doing? Oh, I do have, the same announcements that I had before. Let me just go through these real quick. I think we had, masterclass, blah, 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 Randy Glass. I just saw a post by Randy. He just wrapped up his semester at CalArts. So I left him a message and I said, hey, now that you're done teaching for the spring, let's come over and we'll hang out. We'll make a video. So I'm going to get Randy over here to do a master class for patrons, and we'll get on that. That'll be fun. Because, whatever Randy does, you guys, and go check Randy's stuff out. That's why, I'm mentioning these people. Because it's amazing. All right, you guys have some answers. That's nice. So my question was, why is there no 7/5 time signature? Like 4/4, 7/8, 6/8. Why is there no 7/5? And the answer is, Roseanne and Cornelius have it, no such thing as a fifth note. That's right, because the bottom number is the type of note that gets the beat, right? That gets that number of beats in the measure. So, 4/4 is 4 quarter notes, right? Because 4 is on the bottom. And then, what was it? Cornelius said, we could invent fifth notes. We could. But would people use them? I don't know. Richard said you could write 7/5. That's true. But 7 doesn't work in normal music. Yeah, notation. No fifth note. That's right. And I remember talking to this one dude. He was bragging. Here's something for you guys to look up. He was bragging about playing with, this is a long time ago in San Francisco, and I was talking to this guy at this dinner party, and he was talking about how he was jamming with, the Grateful Dead guys, right, and Mickey Hart and Babatunde Olatunji and all these cats, right, that were doing all this stuff with Santana eventually, And there's all these percussionists. And there was this group of, there's a percussion group, and they were called the Rhythm Devils. All right? Look it up, you guys. Rhythm Devils. And this guy was talking about, I don't know why this stuck in my head. I guess because it's weird. He was bragging about playing with the Rhythm Devils guys, right? And he said, oh man, they were doing all this crazy stuff. Like they were playing in 15 over 13 and blah, 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 blah. And I already was in high school by this time, and I knew there's no 15-13 time signature, dude. Come on. Do you know who you're talking to? Anyway, I kind of knew what he meant. He just meant they were doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But I guarantee you they were not playing in 15-13. Because why? No 13th note. Although those guys did a lot of drugs. Maybe they did invent and use the 13th note. I don't know. I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying there's no 13th note. All right. Now, if we did 7 over 5, that would be like, 7 beats and 5 beats in the same measure, right? And no, I knew a bass player who could actually do that kind of stuff. He would like tap 7, and then he'd tap 5 with the other hand. And it's like, I'm not going to do that. I can't do that. I can do 4 with 3, I can do 4 with 3, but I'm not doing 7 and 5. That's above my pay grade. All right, you guys. We should probably get into getting ready for Gimme 5 stuff. There's no rush, but it's already, oh my goodness, it's already 19 till. So we have a little bit of time, but let's start thinking about that. So I do want to remind you that we could do. And Roseanne, you're going to pick somebody, all right, for that. I just want to remind you that I could do the Glenn Velez bow run on D. And then I have a couple D flutes over here. And, other stuff. I just whipped the drum with my headphone. Inventing new sounds. Okay, so yeah, put your Give Me 5 suggestions in the chat. And whatever style, if you guys want to suggest like a vibe, tempo, you could just say, slow, medium, fast, or whatever. Or if you want to be specific, and you could say, like 6/8, 3/4, 7/8, 4/4. Whatever. Just put as much information or as little as you want, and I'll do my best to play something. And of course, there are no warranties or guarantees of any kind, explicit or implied, not valid in all states and territories. All right. I'm trying to think. Oh, let me talk at you guys for a second about the Flute Aloha thing. It was really cool, and I did mention that last week briefly because I just came out of it. But it was really cool, and I want to tie this in with how I opened today, because one of the things we were working on, and this is something you could all work on, is when you play or perform to try to improvise as much as you're comfortable and as much as you can to try to create music, a melody, for example. And how do we do that? We play and then we repeat things and we develop themes. And I know you might think you can't do it, but that's why you need to do it. You need to just try, and I think you'll surprise yourself. That could be rhythms, right? Like I was doing in the opening. Did you guys notice when I was playing, I would just reach over and play a drum, and then I'd reach over and play it again and kind of develop. Hey, Tom, welcome, and thank you again for the super chat tip. That's awesome. Tom Fox is here, drummer, flute player, and maker. So when you play, yeah, and if you're playing a drum solo, like if you're a drum set player like Tom, or you're learning other drums, it doesn't matter the instrument. It's my point. Could be flute, could be congas, could be drum set. You can always develop. It can be a dented up trash can. You develop themes and ideas, all right, and you repeat and you develop them and you change them a little, and that's what we do as musicians. And I was encouraging more people to do that at the Flute Aloha event because it puts you in a creative space. It puts you hopefully like in a flow state of creativity. It also makes it easier to do that. I think it's just my opinion, but it makes it easier to play music when you haven't planned everything out and you have some flexibility. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a plan, like a chart or chord changes or anything. And there's nothing wrong with having a completely pre-planned score. But I'm not really talking about that right now. I'm talking about maybe just doing something for people that's musical. And the way you can make it easier on yourself is just to have like a theme, a general idea, or even a mood, like even just that kind of theme, like animal sounds or something, or animal rhythms, of like when animals move or something. You could start with that, or you could start with a certain rhythm that you know. And welcome Orpheus Creative Company. And so you could start with that, and then just trust yourself that you'll be creative and develop it. And then you can just shape the music. If you're with other musicians, you can just shape the music by cueing people, by using your body language, starting, stopping, increasing the energy, decreasing the energy, speeding up, slowing down, laying out, coming in, doing duets, doing solos, having a groove. And I kind of did that too in the opening, right? I played a little conga. Let the groove go a little bit, just didn't do anything extra, do a solo, come back to, it's just making music. So it's about being musical and being a musician. And I hope that some of you, if you haven't done that yet, if you haven't like gotten away from, the printed page or even just planning things out before you play, I just recommend that you try it and do it a lot. And the more you do that, the better you will get at it. And that's a kind of cool space to get into as a musician, because it gets you away from being a technician to being a musician, right? So that's what it's about, you guys. All right, yes, Roseanne, last call for Gimme Fives, and then we gotta do it because we're gonna run out of time. Okay. Orpheus Creative Company. It is, which is Weirdo. Oh, tap, cowbell, low conga, African shaker, D flute. Okay, and a bossa nova. Where is the Weirdo? Hold on. Is it back here? It is. Hold on a second. I gotta get it. I gotta find it. Let me see. Which is is this the African shaker? Because I have a few shakers here. I got this one too, which is nice. Let me know, is it the tube shaker or is it the C-pod rattle? And now, hold on. Let's put this on. Getting the Weirdo. Get the Weirdo. Get the Weirdo. Get the Weirdo. I missed the serrated part I wanted to do. Let's do that again. All right, I'm just cracking myself up. Sorry. All right. Let's see. I'm going to let me rearrange some stuff here. I need more table space. Okay, hang on. Hang on. Now, you said yes to the shaker. Which one is it, though? I don't know. Oh, tube. Okay, go with tube. The tube shaker. All right. So I got that. Okay, and the tap cowbell, and the Weirdo, and the low conga, and the D flute. Okay, all right. Well, I can leave that all here, so that's good. Okay, you guys, I'll try to do my best. Let me get my backing vibe going here. All right. We're going to erase everything we had before. And let's see what we can do. What are we going to start with? What do I usually start with when I'm trying to do looping? So I've talked about this before, so this is kind of a little test. I start with a shaker because it lays down everything, else it makes it easier to do everything after that. As long as Cornelius is like bass. Yeah, well, even bass I would do shaker first. To just lay down the groove, And then it also covers up my little mistakes if everything else isn't perfect. Kind of covers them up. All right, let's go. Get the level. Okay. Thanks for joining, everyone. It was great to see you guys. We'll play you guys out a little bit. I hope you guys are feeling the vibes today. Thanks, Roseanne, for showing up. It's always nice to have you guys here. Richard, both Richards. And thank you, Orpheus, for the suggestion. I hope we got a cool vibe going. Digging the low conga and cajon interaction. Appreciate you guys. I'm Kalani. This is World Drum Club, and we'll just play you guys out. Have a great evening, and we'll see you next week.
World Drum Club.